It's knit and chat time, guys. Hello, how are you? Welcome back to the String Things channel. If you are new here, my name is Mel and I am a stay-at-home mom in Vancouver, and this is my little space where I talk about my knitting. So today I thought I'd slow things down a little bit and just kind of hang out with you guys and do one of those knit and chats. So I've got myself a little warm beverage somewhere behind me and got some knitting to do, and I'll give you a little update on a couple of the WIPs that I am working on, but I thought I'd just kind of chat and you guys can get to know me a little bit more that way. So today I am taking this time to do this knit and chat because I realized that I could record and knit at the same time, so it's kind of like killing two birds with one stone. I don't know why I haven't done this sooner, because I was feeling like, oh wow, I need to catch up on my knitting so I actually have things to show you in videos, but you know, why don't just do it at the same time? So here I am. I am working on my Wednesday sweater with my Neuro yarn that I bought a little while ago. Sorry, it's just kind of tangled. And I've done the yoke. I'm working on one of the sleeves, and it's not as far as I was hoping it would be at this point, but I ended up frogging this entire sleeve because, well, when I went to pick up stitches for the sleeve, I ended up with more stitches than the pattern says to do for my size, which not a huge deal because I have the right pickup ratio and I didn't want to mess with that. So I decided that, you know, I had to calculate how many increases and what distance to do, so I still end up with the same kind of length of sleeve and circumference. But the first time I did it, I wasn't decreasing fast enough in terms of number of rows between each decrease, so I had to frog it back and I've started again. I think I've got the right decrease ratio now for my number of stitches that I've started with, and it's fine. Didn't cry about it. It's okay. I'm not afraid to frog, especially if I'm working on something that's worsted weight 5mm needles. I'm already like back beyond the point where I had been before I frogged, so it's all good. This is like my kind of TV knitting project right now, or you know, do a row or two in between when my daughter Darcy is playing, something I can leave on the kitchen counter. Although it's getting kind of big, so I don't know if this is really good for my kitchen counter knitting anymore. So what I do, if I'm in a particular mood where I feel like my hands are kind of antsy and I still want to get some sort of knitting time in, but I'm home with my daughter, I will put a knitting project on the counter, and in between playing with her and doing whatever, I just kind of pick it up and knit a row or two. And whenever I do that, I can't actually sit at the counter. I have to keep standing. Otherwise, if she sees me sitting, she runs over to me and wants to sit in my lap. And I have tried to knit with her in my lap. It works for about 2 stitches, and then she starts just grabbing everything because she has a bit of a love of yarn herself. I don't blame her. Like, yarn's pretty cool. And in the past, I have let her play with some of my yarn stash, so she thinks it's okay to just like grab and be like, ball, ball, ball. So yeah, a bit of my fault, but you know, trying to get her into it so we can knit in the future together would be is my goal. But anyways, yeah, we'll see. It's getting kind of large enough that she's kind of tall enough that she can see what's on the counter, so she may start to grab at it and go, what's that, Mom? So we'll see. May have to just try to be more patient and knit when she's sleeping. Like right now. But most of my attention has been on my other WIP, which is, guys, you recall an episode or two, I don't know when, but anyways, one of my acquisition videos earlier on, I showed this book, and I'm working on the tiger. And I mentioned before that Bethany of Well Love Knits, she did the giraffe, and when I saw her do the giraffe, that's when I realized, like, I need to get going on this animal. I had the book for quite some time, but you know, when you just see someone else have something and you need to have it too, that's what I felt. So I've been working away on this animal, and it's been a lot of fun. And I was thinking to myself, actually, if I can say I'm really good at anything in terms of like the crafts, crochet, knitting, I think my strength is stuffed animals. That's, yeah, although I've only been knitting for a couple of years, so I don't really think I've reached the point where I make like super amazing things. They're okay. But I think I'm really good at stuffed animals. Like, that's my thing. And that's what I did with crochet for many years, like over 10 years of crocheting. I've got quite a number of stuffed animals. Maybe I'll do a little tour one of these days of all the stuffed animals I've made. That's something I will definitely have to think of in advance, because they're all in my daughter's room, and no way I'm going in there and talking about stuffed animals while she's sleeping. But yeah, this has taken, or has had, a lot of my attention, and it's all in pieces because still working away on the parts. So I have, it's a bit of a mess. I have a head. I've got masking tape here because I had a bunch of yarn tails going on, and I didn't want to accidentally grab a yarn tail instead of the working yarn, and so I just grabbed all the yarn tails together and with masking tape so I wouldn't grab them, and just to keep them out of the way. So this head still needs to be stuffed. Add some eyes and embroider on the nose. And oh yeah, I think I still actually have to secure my ends on this one. So head, and I got body piece. Boop. I've got the tail. Sorry, there's like really long tails because you need that when you are stitching the pieces closed, because everything is sewn flat. The 2 ears. And this is the left arm. So yeah, I was worried about all the color work. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but it's leaf blower time now. Anyways, damn leaf blower. One of the terrible things my husband and I realized when we were working from home during the pandemic, oh my god, it's getting louder, is the frequency of leaf blowers on our street. So on our street we have a few apartment buildings, which we all pay for our own landscaping, and it seems like each building, like, we're not on the same schedule obviously because we don't have the same landscaping companies working for us. So it's like almost every day of the week there's a leaf blower here, and even if it's like pouring rain out, someone's out there with a gas powered leaf blower, and it's so loud. And yeah, I really wish there was a bylaw where only electric leaf blowers were permitted. Yeah, I I'm really sorry if you can hear that right now. If it gets super obnoxious, I'll just pause for a moment, but I'm just gonna keep going. Um, where was I? Yes, I was worried about getting into the color work for this tiger, and I was saying, like, I hope I don't regret getting into it. But you know, there isn't a lot of stitches in each row, and this yarn is really lovely to work with. Like, I've really liked this yarn. This is the recommended yarn for these animals. And yeah, and even the intarsia bits. So if you are planning to do this one and you are considering, you know, why can't I just do it stranded, like have huge floats or, you know, carry my floats through? I did do that a bit on the head, and yeah. I mean, it was okay. What did I do it on the head? Oh yeah, I did it on like the little eye patch parts. And like if you stretch the fabric a bit, you can see the yellow yarn underneath. But it is worth it to do intarsia, especially when you get to large spaces like this for the belly. And you definitely, like, when this gets stuffed, it's going to stretch a little bit. And I definitely did not want any like black or yellow yarn to show up through the belly. And yeah, so when I was doing the body, that's when my yarn was getting really tangled. Although I wasn't trying hard to not get tangled, I just kind of like scooted the knot that formed like far enough out of my way so I could still pull more yarn and keep working, because I was getting so close to the top that I was like, you know, just work through it, like, you know, pulling back all the knots and everything. But it was okay. All worth it. Because I did not do intarsia for the ear. And I can see bits of the black yarn showing through. I don't believe the ear is stuffed once I assemble it. I don't think so. I mean, I wouldn't anyways. You want to keep them pretty flat. So yeah, you can see some of the black through it, and it's okay. Like, I'm not gonna go back and redo the ear. I don't think so. No, no, no. um, yeah, it's fine for the ear. It's okay. I tried to do like carry floats for the arm, but then so I didn't like carry the floats so that the strand wasn't too long. I just had like a super long length of yarn in behind, and sometimes it was too short, so then my arm was starting to like pucker or buckle in. So, and I didn't think like getting to the point of stuffing was gonna save it, so I actually ripped back and did intarsia, so I had like two lengths of yellow yarn going. And yeah, I'm glad I ripped back and did that, because it looks so much better now. So when you get the yarn for this guy, if you get the recommended yarn, you it says to get 2 balls of yellow, and then you get 1 of black and white. They have actual names, but I can't remember them right now. I'm still on the first yellow ball, and when I'm doing intarsia, I've just been using a length of yarn from like the center of the ball, and then like the other end, which is like from the outside. And yeah, it gets tangled every once in a while, but it's fine. Like, I didn't want to start using the second ball if I didn't have to. And yeah, I'm actually surprised that I'm still on the first ball, and I just have 1 arm and 2 legs left to do. So we'll see if I actually need to crack into that second yellow ball, which I'm guessing I will have to, because otherwise why would they tell you to get 2 balls of this yarn? So we shall see. I was just watching Bethany's latest podcast, Well Love Knits, and she is going to start the tiger. So I feel like I'm doing the opposite because I have yarn to do the giraffe after I'm done this. So yeah, and I was thinking maybe the tiger will be for my daughter's birthday in October, or I'll probably just get too excited and give it to her right away, and then maybe the giraffe could be for her birthday. Or if I get too excited about fall knitting selfish knits, then the giraffe will be for Christmas. But I feel like that's so far off. Like, this is working out relatively quickly. Yeah, so we'll see. I'm excited. Like, this has really sparked my love for stuffed animals again. Yeah, I'll have to give you guys a little tour of all my little crochet guys that I've created. The ones that I've kept anyways, because there are a number that I gifted for all my friends' kids and some of my coworkers who were just like, I really want one of those. So yeah, I think I have pictures of them, so I can at least show you guys that. Yeah, so that's what's been grabbing most of my attention is the tiger, and yeah, working on this Wednesday sweater. I have placed an order for some yarn for some fall knitting for myself and for my daughter. So once that arrives, I can chat about it. But it hasn't come in yet. I realized I said this was going to be a knit and chat, and I haven't actually done any knitting on here. Out of curiosity, let's see how far I actually get. So I'll place a marker where I am starting, and we'll see how far I actually get. If I can knit. If I can knit and chat at the same time. Who knows? Okay, let's put the marker here. So coming up this month is Knit City, held at the Peony Forum here in Vancouver. Anybody going to that? I bought tickets. I'm one person. I bought a ticket for the marketplace on the Saturday, the 24th, 2 o'clock. And this is going to be my first ever knit-related event I'm actually going to. So if you're from the Lower Mainland and you're going to go check out Knit City, let me know, like, what should I expect? I didn't sign up for any of the courses just because I think a lot of them were sold out, and I don't know, I just want to go shop yarn. So one of my fears, which isn't really like a fear, but I'm worried that I'm just gonna get there and I'm gonna go crazy and want to like touch everything and buy everything. And I know there's gonna be a number of specialty yarn there that does have a higher price point, so I don't know, should I go in with some limitations? Should I go in with a list of things that I am planning to make? Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to be by myself, so there's no one to police me on this. So I think I am going to at least either in my phone or on old-fashioned piece of paper, I think I'm going to write down some potential projects that I'd like to cast on for late fall, winter, and just put on quick notes of gauge, yarn weight, and the yarn amounts, just so I have that on hand so I can at least try to be smart about my purchases. So yeah, I'm still not really familiar with like how much yarn do you buy for a sweater quantities worth of yarn. I guess it does depend on what you're going to knit up, but yeah, I want to have at least some sort of guideline with me. Obviously I could just look something up on my phone at the time, but I think if I have a list to see like, oh yeah, I am considering that project, like, oh yes, this yarn would be really good for that. Because I like to plan, and yeah, I want to try to be efficient while I'm there as well, but also just like have fun. This is going to be my first knit related thing, going on my own, no kid in tow. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. So I've been asked by, friends and coworkers in the past, how do I find time to knit so much, as they would say. Which I don't think I knit a lot, but I guess for a mom at home with a kid, I guess I do. And I guess what gets thrown out a lot is that people will say like, well, how do you find the time? And part of it, first of all, is changing your attitude. So it's never about finding time. Time is finite. There is only a certain number of seconds, minutes, hours in a day. So you're never going to find more of it. It's a matter of what you're going to do with the time that you have. So this is something that has changed for me and evolved a lot since my daughter was born. When she was born, I didn't knit for 2 months. I just straight up didn't have the energy to do it. And I was always in a reactive mode for her needs. I still, react somewhat, but being almost 2, she's somewhat more predictable. Like she has more of a schedule as opposed to the early weeks of her life. And, I have a bit more of a rhythm and know what I need to do while I'm at home. So whenever it is that you reach that 2 nap schedule time, that's how I used to split up my like mom house chore stuff versus get to sit down and knit. So what I used to do for her first morning nap, that was my chance to, finish my breakfast and my coffee because maybe I didn't have a chance to eat or drink it all, and sit down, watch YouTube a little bit, and get in some knitting. So that was probably, maybe I'd fit in like half an hour, 40 minutes of knitting. And then the second nap was for figuring out what was going to be for dinner, or, doing the food prep for it. Now, with having a 1 nap schedule, I usually allot like 30 to 45 minutes of knitting because, so she naps starting around 1 o'clock. So depending if we had lunch together, we'll determine whether I need to eat lunch first after I put her down for her nap, and try to think about what's going to be for dinner, and then I just kind of sit down and knit. And a lot of the times I will just sit down and knit, no TV on, no music, just sit down with my thoughts. It's really the only time where my mind isn't super busy and I can actually just relax. I don't nap. So even in the early weeks of Darcy's life, I didn't nap. And a lot of people say, nap when baby naps, but I just didn't because my mind was always so busy thinking about other things of what to do. I just couldn't. I just can't. Never been in the napping type of person. I can probably count on one hand the number of times I have napped like in my life. So yeah, and it's just fitting in knitting when I can. So obviously, like, I don't work out. I don't do a lot of food prep in advance. I do a lot of the chores, house chores, with Darcy. So that leaves her nap time, her quiet time is my quiet time. And that's how I can fit it in. And then when she goes to bed at night, That's when I get to do like more uninterrupted knitting. My husband and I tend to just watch a show or two together, and he is okay with me sitting next to him and knitting and watching at the same time. Yeah, that's what I do with my time. And it's, you have to decide for yourself how you want to spend your time, what works for you, what works for your family. Obviously, um, I would, knit the entire nap time if I could, but I also have a responsibility to the family to, you know, keep this place tidy, do the laundry and all that. But as I said before, I try to do a lot of those chores with Darcy so that I get to have um, alone time. And it's something that you should really set aside for yourself, whether it's knitting or time to read a book or sitting and having your coffee in peace. You need that alone time to recharge. And with the age that Darcy is, she's actually interested in chores, which helps with you know making the day go by a little bit quicker, because sometimes you're kind of stuck inside, the weather's just complete crap. You don't want to leave the house for whatever reason, so you got to come up with ways to pass the time inside. So yeah, she'll help me load the washing machine, she'll help me unload the dishwasher, um, help me vacuum. Yeah, I try to get her involved in as many chores as I can, and she helps me tidy up. So she learns these things, and when it comes to her own stuff, she tidies up her toys when she's done with them. Not all the time, it's like 50-50, but the fact that I see her, she starts putting toys away. So she understands the concept of, cleaning up after herself, which is good. So yeah, don't use your alone time to do all the chores. Okay, so I have done like 6 rows. I didn't actually look at what time it was when I started doing this. Oh, I should probably actually check what time it is right now. Oh, wow. So, I think that's all the time I have today for this little knit and chat. I hope you guys didn't mind hearing me ramble a little bit, talk about how I prioritize time to get my knitting done. If you are interested in seeing more videos from me, please subscribe, and I try to release videos every week or every other week. And so until next time, guys, happy knitting. Bye.